Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do, because it takes the longest to cook, is get our chips in the oven. These are extra special, okay? So these are Morris Piper potatoes, which makes the best chip. These have been coated in beef dripping, okay? So it's just a matter of opening these and popping them in the oven. So guys, just carefully along the top, just along the side, just so you're not sticking your hands right in, getting covered in beef dripping, okay? So when we're putting them on the tray, you don't want to stack them on top of each other, okay? Or you don't want them touching, so you can get a nice even cook. So these are in fact triple cooked chips. So these have been blanched in boiling salted water for 10 minutes, left to cool naturally, and then deep fried at 140 for 6 minutes. So in the oven with the beef dripping is the final part of the cooking process. Now I'm not going to season these with salt now, because if we did that it would start to bring out the moisture and you'd end up with a soggy chip. So we're off. We are. Any little excess dripping left just on top. So we're going to pop these in the oven. They take about 25 minutes to half an hour at 185 or 200 on a non-fan assisted oven, okay? The oven, but you want to turn them halfway through just to get a nice even crisp. Okay guys, so that is the first job done. Okay guys, so chips in the oven, now on to our starter. So this is a beautiful, light, delicate little starter, okay? So it's crab arancini, which is like little risotto fritters. Beautiful local crab meat through there. We have a lovely aromatic cherry tomato compote and some lovely little mixed herb salad. Okay, so again guys, this is you ready to go, good to go in the oven. So this will take about 15 to 20 minutes, again at 185, 200 for a non-fan oven. So this goes in first, and then we'll take you back to show you how you know they're ready. Okay, so straight in the oven with this, guys. Okay guys, so that's been 20 minutes. We are just going to check our little arancinis. So carefully now, very hot, take one out. Now I'm going to show you a little chef's trick here. So you want that, make sure that's nice and hot on the inside. So get a knife, just make sure it goes right to the center, okay? Because that's obviously where that will be cooler. Knife out on the tip of your finger. Make sure it's nice and hot. That is perfect. So that has been 20 minutes exactly, guys. All right. Now, okay, our lovely little compote here. So we've got some basil, some shallots, some lovely sweet cherry tomatoes, and there's a little bit of lemon oil in there as well, okay? So you have a lovely bit of acidity and sweetness. Now, just in the center of your plate. Now guys, when you're going to serve this, okay, when you're cooking this dish, make sure you leave this little dressing. Don't serve it straight from the fridge, okay, because it'll be too cold. Just leave it out about half an hour to get up to room temperature. And then nicely, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we have a little mixture here of what we call fish herbs. So you have a little bit of chervil, a little bit of tarragon, a little bit of coriander. Just a few of those in the center and about. So you've got a lovely burst of freshness from the herbs as you're eating your lovely little crab arancini. Okay guys, there we go. Now wow, what an amazing start to our meal. Our lovely crab arancini and cherry tomato compote. Sensational. Okay guys, so starter enjoyed, now on to the main course. So our chips are in the oven, they're almost ready. The rest of this dish only takes 10 minutes at the most. So I'm going to run through the ingredients with you quickly, guys. This 2 sirloin steaks here. Now these are not ordinary sirloin steaks, these are rather special, okay? So these are Glenarm Irish Shorthorn beef, okay? These are from Glenarm Estate, from Peter Hannans and Moira. These are the Rolls Royce, not just of Irish beef. Like seriously guys, these are so good. The flavour, the texture, it's like eating through butter. The flavour is fantastic. So I didn't want to hide the flavour of the sirloin by doing lots of different flavours. I really want that beef to come through, the flavour of the sirloin to to sing. So we're going to serve it. We're going to do a wee bit of classic surf and turf. We're going to do some lovely sweet tiger prawns and a little bit of mild garlic butter. So again, I don't want to mask the flavour of this beef, so just a little touch of garlic into that butter. So to begin, we also have some thyme and garlic to cook the steaks and a lovely little peppery salad here. So we have some watercress and some fraiche lettuce. Now, as all chefs will tell you, all good chefs will tell you, everything is on the plate for a reason. It's not just a matter of garnish. I picked this salad. Endive lettuce, curly endive lettuce is quite bitter and quite sharp, okay? The watercress is very peppery. Now, we have lovely, rich flavoured protein here, lovely lean sweet protein in the prawns. So you want a little bit of crispness, a little bit of bitterness to cut through that, okay? So that is the reason why I've got this lovely peppery salad with that. So to begin, on to our steaks. Now, being from the cookery school, it's not just a matter of throwing this into the pan. I want to take you through the whole process of cooking the steak properly. Okay, so like your dressing for your starter, lift your steaks out of the fridge at least an hour before cooking. So you really want to bring that up to room temperature. So I'm going to show you how to cook this medium rare, okay? So the inside will be nice and pink. So if we cook this straight from the fridge, the inside will still be a little cool. So lift it out of the fridge an hour before cooking. So your pan literally, guys, has to be smoking hot. Never add protein to a cold or a warm pan, it'll start to boil. So a little drizzle of this beautiful golden liquid. This is brighter gold rapeseed oil. So again, while that's heating up, talk a little bit about this beautiful rapeseed oil. So this is beautiful Northern Ireland product. Okay, chefs love it because it's got the highest flash point of any oil, which means it cooks at a higher temperature without burning. It's really low in unsaturated fats. In fact, it's the lowest oil for cooking with unsaturated fats. It's high in omega-3, omega-6, healthiest oil you can cook with, guys, okay? So while that's heating up, we're going to give the steaks a little season. So with sea salt and with black pepper. Now, we're only going to season this with sea salt. So, salt is a natural flavour enhancer. It will bring out the natural flavour of this beef. Black pepper isn't a seasoning, it's actually a spice. So if we put the black pepper on now into a hot pan, the black pepper will actually burn and go bitter. Now, black pepper, amazing with steaks, but always season the black pepper after your steak's cooked, not beforehand. So, just a good seasoning with sea salt on both sides, just before we get it into the pan. We don't want to put the salt on too early, it'll start to bring out the moisture. That moisture will come out as soon as you put it into the hot pan, okay? So just before you put it in the pan, a little bit of seasoning with salt. Okay guys, so you can see the pan is literally smoking hot. So firstly, we want to render that beautiful fat down. So carefully. Now, at home guys, use tongs, okay? You want to get that nice and crispy, a lovely render under that fat. There we go, okay, so beautiful colour. Then, on its side, now don't touch it, I know the temptation is there to shake it, but I want to get a lovely caramelisation on that side as well. So we're going to start timing the steak once we start butter basting it, okay, and then it's just a couple of minutes either side basting, but we want to get that nice caramelisation first on that beef. A little bit longer. There we go, look at that, how appetising does that look. Now, we're going to put a lovely bit of fresh thyme on top. So these are some cloves of garlic, which I've just put the knife on and cracked open. Okay. All the flavour in garlic is in the oil, so when we baste that in the butter, all that beautiful garlic flavour will come out. Some unsalted butter. Now, at the cookery school, guys, we always cook with unsalted butter. The main reason, you'll be seasoning as you're cooking, and if you use normal household butter, which is fantastic but slightly salty, and your seasoning, you might have a tendency to over season your steak or anything you're cooking. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. The chef, that is a beautiful, beautiful looking thing. Just when it starts to brown, a little bit of the beurre noisette, we start basting with butter. Okay, so we're going to cook this medium rare. So we're going to baste it for 2 minutes with the butter, and 2 minutes on the other side. So 4 to 5 minutes in total, okay, to get you a lovely medium rare steak. If you want it medium well, you add another 2 minutes either side. If you want it well done, well, you can just throw it in the bin. Now we add another 2 minutes on top of that as well, okay? So what we're doing, we're spooning, we're basting that beautiful butter over the top of the steak, and the heat from the butter is releasing the oil from the thyme and from the garlic, flavouring your steak. Okay, so guys, if you order a steak in a restaurant, if you order a steak at a good restaurant, this is how they would cook your steak a la minute, cook to order, okay? Just move your herbs and garlic off for a second. Turn it over. Beautiful, look at that. So, get your herbs and your garlic back on top again. Okay, which is easier said than done. And then for another 2 minutes, just start basting that steak again. So you never want to put a steak in the oven, guys. Suppose maybe if you're looking at really well done, you would pop it in the oven. The heat in the oven, it's called heat by convection, so it's completely circling the steak, and what that would do, it would actually dry it out. So not only are we cooking the steak here in the butter, we're keeping it moist as well. Okay. So, how to tell if your steak's medium rare, guys? The simplest way, okay? So, this is the simplest way. So, between your thumb and pointing finger, that little tendon in the middle, okay? It's soft, but a little spring back. That is how your medium rare steak should feel. Absolutely perfect, okay? Now, we're going to rest our steak. You can get yourself a little tray with a little rack on top. And steak on that. And pour over that butter, all that cooking juice, because that's full of flavour. Okay, so we're going to retain this pan for the prawns, because that is full of lovely beef flavour. But before we cook the prawns, I'm just going to check the chips. Oh, almost ready, 2 minutes, okay. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about why we rest our steaks, okay? So there's two main reasons. Now, every cut of steak is a muscle. So you imagine you're introducing that protein, that muscle tissue to heat, it will tense up. So imagine your bicep, it's really hard when you tense it. That is what your steak is like now. So you need to let it rest for at least 10 minutes to let that muscle nice and relax. If you just ate it straight away, it would be tough and chewy. Now, the second reason, when we're cooking the steak, we're pushing all the moisture from the heat to the center of the steak. So if we just cut that now, all that moisture pushed to the middle will just run out, ending up with a dry steak. So the second reason to let it rest is to let that moisture in the center of the steak flow back out. So after 5 to 10 minutes, you have a lovely, moist, tender steak. Now, on to our sauce and garnish while our steak is resting. Beautiful sweet tiger prawns. A little bit of the mild garlic butter. So pan on the heat. Remember, still the same pan. We're going to deglaze. Deglazing is adding something cold to a hot pan. Lifts that flavour into your sauce. So a little bit of garlic butter. Round. Okay, so what we're doing, all that flavour from the steak is now going into that butter. Just when it starts to go brown and foaming, look at that lovely foaming, that bubbling, that is perfect. Optimal cooking in with your prawns. Okay. Now, like all seafood, you do not want to overcook these prawns, okay? So you want them nice and opaque. They will just start to turn pink and white. Okay, you see those are going slightly pale, starting to go nice and pink. Just turn them over. So you're just cooking these through, guys. If you overcook these, they'll just go like little rubber bullets. You want them nice and tender and flavoursome. Okay, and that is pretty much about them. Okay, just starting to get a little bit of colour on there. Just going to push them off the heat. Going to add just a tiny bit more garlic butter. Some chopped parsley. Guys, if you could smell this, the sweet prawns, the garlic butter, sensational. Okay, just going to set that off the heat while we check our chips. Okay, now look at those. Beautiful. And brown the whole way. Oh, nice and crispy. Hope you heard that. Nice and crispy. Fluffy in the middle. Okay, so you have a lovely hard crust in the beef dripping. Fluffy in the middle. Now we can season it, guys, okay? So a good bit of sea salt. Little shake. So I'm going to start plating, guys. I'm going to plate the chips first. You can hear that on the plate, how crispy those are. Now there's me automatically being all chefy, making a nice little stack, but you bung them on, guys, any way you want. Doesn't matter, they will taste sensational. Now, a nice little bit of peppery salad. So our watercress and our curly endive. Again, I'm going to keep it nice and simple, just a little seasoning just before you serve it. Salt, black pepper. I'm going to give this a little drizzle. This wonderful rapeseed oil. So this is lovely and peppery, and a little bit of bitter in there as well, just to cut through that butterness of the steak and the sweetness of the prawns. I'm going to give it a little final sea salt, a little bit of black pepper now. Onto your plates, and finish with these beautiful garlic prawns. A little bit of that garlic butter over the top, over the chips if you wish. Now guys, look at the best surf and turf you will get, okay? Never mind your beef fillet and lobster, Glenarm shorthorn sirloin steak, garlic tiger prawns, beef dripping chips, peppery salad. What more could you want? Okay guys, thank you very much.